Hi, my name is Dave Belleville, November India 9 Mike. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a fan change on the Icom IC-7300. We're going to replace the stock fan with a fan, third-party fan that is much quieter and moves just as much air. A lot of times the stock fan that comes in the 7300 is very noisy and it comes on a lot, so it annoys a lot of operators because they can't hear other things. So it's a simple change. It'll take about 20-25 minutes for you to do it. The first thing we're going to do is make sure the rig is completely disconnected from peripherals, power, everything like that. You don't want it connected to anything. Before you start, make sure you follow all safety guidelines for static electricity and such. You don't want to damage the rig when you have it open. Make sure you don't touch anything inside the rig or drop anything inside the rig. The only thing you're going to touch is the cable that connects the fan to the main board. So before you start, touch something grounded, discharge any static, turn the rig on its top on a pad that protects the top from scratches. Take out the 6 screws on the bottom and 2 on each side on the bottom half. That's what holds the bottom of the case cover on. Then just lift it off. I've already taken these screws off, by the way, because I didn't want to waste the time doing it while you're watching. So once you have the fan or the bottom cover off, go ahead and take the 4 screws out of the fan. There's just 4 screws in the back that hold it in. Go ahead and take them off, but don't pull the fan out yet, just let it sit there. The cover will come off too. Now look inside the rig. I'll get you a little closer here. This is the wire that goes to the fan. This red and you can see this red and black wire. It's only one in there. It plugs into the main board there, just beyond this second ribbon cable. Go ahead and grab it down at the connector, wiggle it a little, and it'll unplug. Then gently pull it out, and making sure that you don't catch it on these ribbon cables and pull one of them loose. They can be reconnected if you do, but it's kind of a pain to do it. Once you pull the fan out, go ahead and get the new fan and compare them, and you'll see a couple of differences if you use this model. If you orient them the same way, and note that they have a closed side on one side of the rotor, and you want that always to point towards the inside of the rig. So place them side by side, and you'll notice that the wires come out in different places even though they're the same shape and size. So what we need to do is make a small notch or something right here in the frame so that we can put the wires down in there when we mount it, so they come out the same way the original one did. I used a Dremel tool. You can do it however you like. Just be careful that you don't damage the wires or the frame itself. You don't want to go all the way through. I use insulating spaghetti and heat shrink tubing to make sure I don't damage any of the wires. You'll also find if you use this model fan that it has 4 wires, but you're only going to use the black one and the yellow one. The blue one and the green one will not be used, so just cut them off, insulate the ends so they don't touch anything, and put them inside the spaghetti or tape them or whatever you want to do. Second thing you want to do is make sure the wires are about the same length when you're done connecting the pigtail. We'll get to the pigtail in a second. The fan will come with a 4 connector end on it, and you're going to want to cut the wires and take that end off. Don't cut the pigtail off your original fan, because if you need to send it back into Icom, if you need to send the rig into Icom for warranty or something, you may want to put this original fan back in so they don't know you've been modifying the radio. So once you've got it out, you've got your new one modified with the pigtail on it, and I'll put a link to the pigtails I purchased at the end also, so you'll know which ones to get. You can get them from many different places. I just happened to get these from Amazon. Now you'll notice one thing here, too, I guess I better show you, is that when you orient the cable so it's oriented the same way on both, the little ridge sticks up here to make sure you can only put it in one way. On this one, the positive and negative wires are aligned the same. On some pigtails, those wires will be reversed, and you have to change them. And all you have to do that is pry this little plastic tab up gently with something and pull the wire out. Do it on both of them, turn them around, and snap them back in. It's very important because you don't want to plug them back in oriented backwards. I don't know if it would hurt anything or not, but I wouldn't want to do it. So after you've done that and you've made sure the pigtail is connected and wired up correctly, you can go ahead and put the new fan in. Now when you put it in, I do it this way on the ones I've done. I hold the wire in the little notch that I created there, and I take the fan cover with a screw in it, and I just kind of put it on there gently like that. That way you can make sure that this spaghetti tubing that holds the wires is underneath the fan and not on top of it. And you want to use some kind of insulation there because these teeth on these screws are sharp and they may eventually wear through the wires, which would cause a short, could cause a short to ground and that might damage something. So you want to make sure everything's insulated well and routed properly. So all you do after you've got that ready is put the fan back in the case or back in the rig. And again, you want to gently hold on to the end, pull it in slowly as you align the fan and put it in place, and make sure you don't catch these ribbon cables. Once you have it in place, go ahead and put the fan mounting screw in, just snug, just so it'll hold the fan in. After you've got the fan in place and you're sure nothing is pinched, everything looks good, the wires are all free and running clear, go ahead and plug it into the motherboard. Now if you'll notice that the board down here has a socket that matches this with it's got a little split that matches this ridge. Make sure you don't try and put it in backwards. Put it in place gently, and then put your fingernail on it and snap it down. Don't use a screwdriver or anything to push it in, because should it slip, you could damage the main board. Once you've done that, just tuck the wire down in there so it's out of the way, and you're ready to put the bottom back on. Once you've checked the fan, made sure all the wires are okay, go ahead and put the bottom back on. Just slides right back on there. Make sure everything feels and looks right. Go ahead and put the 10 screws back in, and then on the fan make sure you put the other 3 screws that you didn't put in back in. Now I'm going to advise you to do this gently. Don't just go crazy and tighten the fan down tight, because you'll probably break one of these ears off, or just cause the fan to be a little deformed, and it may not run smoothly and quietly. So you just want to snug them up a little bit. After you put the fan screws back in, all 10 screws on the case, you're ready to go ahead, hook it up, power it up, make sure it works. Make sure you've oriented the fan the same, don't forget that, so that the closed side of the rotor points to the inside of the unit. Otherwise you'll have the open side in there, and the fan will be blowing air in rather than pulling air out. You don't want that. So I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them at the end of the video. I'll be sure to answer any questions that you leave. I would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe, because I'm new and I could sure use the help. I'm going to try and put how-to videos and other reviews on my channel at least once or twice a week. There will be reviews of equipment, how to do things, ham related, and some things that are not ham related. So I'd appreciate it if you give me the thumbs up, subscribe, and come back some other time. Have a great day. Send me your comments and questions. Thank you.